when you speak about revolution, people think you want to carry guns. No, you can have revolution of the mind. You can have revolution of how you think. And we need to have very strong revolution to change Nigeria, assuming that we truly want to change Nigeria, because it depends on us if we change Nigeria or we don't change Nigeria. But I want to say here without fear or favor that as long as we have the present personalities that we have in our different states, in politics, all the way up to the federal government, that even this 1999 Constitution, from what I've heard here even, that we're going to find it difficult, if not impossible, to change the 1999 Constitution. Therefore, as I round up, I am convinced that if we're not able to change the 1999 Constitution to the People's Constitution, irrespective of how we have come about this 1999 Constitution that is so clearly against the country called Nigeria.
All right. All thanks to God that gradually the eyes of the people are beginning to open. Oh yes, some leaders in Nigeria, their eye don't they open and their mouth don't they open too. Because in the recent days, we've seen some leaders come out to say, Omo, the way this country they go, it be like saying a revolution, I ain't go solve them last. Oh yes, we've had the former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, come out to say it. We have also seen Dele Farotimi come out to say, come on, these petty things we are doing in Nigeria is not going to save Nigeria. We have also seen the life of Femi Falana, of course, the son we have in Nigeria, come out to say it. They have all said it, saying that, you see all this election stuff is not going to save Nigeria. Now, the question is, do you think that revolution is going to save Nigeria? Or do you think that restructuring, because some people has also come out. Of course, I'm going to show you some videos of people that have also come out and say, it's good that we go with restructuring. And some are saying revolution. But me, I'm saying division. Now, the question is, which one do you think is the best way forward for Nigeria? Revolution, restructuring, or division? Please do well to drop your comment on the comment section what you think. But then in this video, I'm going to allow you to see and watch some Nigerian leaders as what they have said about this whole thing of the state of the nation. All right. So please do well to watch it. Then you drop your comment in the comment section what you think about it. All right. Please watch.
The next thing he should do, tell him if you know him, is to restructure this country. Nigeria is a fraud. One particular tribe repressing the whole of us. Did you hear what Central Bank governor wants to do? Just a department, the operation department of Central Bank, to be moved back to Lagos, where you have 99% of the headquarters of bank. The North is agitating. Don't take Abuja back to Lagos. They don't care. If you all become beggars, it's okay for their oligarchic mentality. I talk like no other pastor talk. I talk like no other pastor talk. Because I have seen into governance, I have seen into the church. And I know where the problem is in this country. Are you hearing me? They may not like what I'm saying, but they cannot dispute the truth. This country cannot go on like this. Okay, I was talking about those who migrated. I don't blame those that want to japa. You know, initially I was saying don't japa. Do you hear me say that again? Japa if you want to japa. Because you look at the country and say, what future? If it goes on like this, what future? If it goes on like this, civil war is imminent. If it goes on like this, military intervention is imminent. Do we want to go back to that? No, something must happen. I have always believed that something must happen. Do you see the way we pray in this church? Make Nigeria one. We don't pray. Nigeria is not one, and it can never be one. We are different nations tied together by force. We should still be one country, but let everyone govern himself the way he likes. Are you hearing me? Let the Niger Delta have their oil. Let the East have their resources. Let the Yoruba people have their resources. Let the North have their resources. Let them manage their security. Give them state police. Let everybody guard his borders. Let everybody generate his economy.
The first point to note is that we never signed any agreement or treaty with the British Crown to surrender our sovereignty. So we're forced into what we call Nigeria. That is number one fraud. Moving forward, our sources of livelihood have been taken over by various enactments, the Land Use Decree, the Petroleum Industry Act, and several others. My sister talked about lack of resource control, resource management, etc. As we speak, the John Nation is on the path of self-determination. We pray the peaceful process we have started is made possible. If not, a revolution will become inevitable. As several fora, we have mentioned the primary conditions that will make Ijaw people to be committed to the Nigerian nation. Before Buhari, I led the Ijaw people, and several, when even the British visited us at Ijaw House, we told them in the first place they brought us to this rubbish, and they have a responsibility of pulling us out. Then secondly, as we move on, we still believe that Nigeria we can have a reset of Nigeria if we are ready to do the appropriate phase. First and foremost, why not go back to the pre-independence Act on derivation? Before oil and gas became the commanding height of Nigerian economy, it was at least 50%. When we had oil and gas, because it's from a minority area, we're giving partly 1%, later 1.3%, and today we have 13%. 20% translate to 87% deprivation. We face all kinds of environmental hazards. And when we cried, they insulted us with 3% PIA for host communities. Somebody said Obasanjo is, the present government is a Democrat. As far as we are concerned, it's not a Democrat.
Next.
Tinubu is not a Democrat. You cannot practice, go and tell him that the Ijaw people say that he's not a Democrat. Because you cannot practice democracy and fail to adhere to the basic principle of democracy. The same constitution that guides everybody. You are imposing a state of emergency in a state to satisfy the inordinate ambition of some persons who want to capture resources and power of a state. We distate that, and we don't want to hear anybody talk about Tinubu being a Democrat. Finally, by way of contributing to the debate, we think that if we must move on, let us go back to the regional system.
And even the second,
we are proposing 10 regions.
Want to not kick me out of it.
10 regions. That is our proposal. And when we have regions, the issues of state creation, local government creation, and etc. will be over. In your own region, you have as many number of states you want to have. If you want to have 10, have 10. If you want to have 10 states, have 10 states. If you want to have 20 or 200 local government areas, have it, because the sharing will be on the region. And that will solve the issues of having 12 states today, because the more you agitate for state creation and create more states, you create more imbalances and injustice. To resolve that problem is other. Then secondly, we must own our resources. Resource control is not new. It is not new when groundnuts, cocoa, palm oil were the commanding out of our district. It was 50%. Why are you doing it for us? Because it is oil. The 13% derivation is an insult. If we have all of this put in place, we can now have a clear Nigeria. We produce what sustains this country, but we are most badly treated. And that is why nothing can be well with this country. When you maltreat the person that feeds your nation, if you maltreat your mother that feeds you, what happens to you? So when we are considering all of this, we should also look at the spiritual dimension to it. We are the mothers of this nation, but we have decided to deprive us. And that is why whatever we do, including what we are doing now, will not work until we give honor to motherhood.
Eminent leaders of conscience, representatives of geopolitical zones, members of the press, and fellow Nigerians. Let me begin by commending the patriots for their vision, their courage, and their unwavering commitment to convening this historic summit. In a nation burdened by silence, convening a dialogue of this magnitude, though not for the first time, not the first of its kind, is an act of bold patriotism. As a son of the South-South, and as one who has carried the burden of this nation's dream across many decades, I stand before you not just to offer goodwill, but to lend voice to the truth that has often been expressed and can no longer be deferred. This summit is not another routine conference. It is a defining moment. Perhaps it is the last peaceful opportunity we have to confront the fundamental contradiction of Nigeria, that we are governed not by the will of the people, but by a constitution that robs us of our sovereignty. Let us speak frankly to the state of our union, which is fractured but not beyond repair. Our federation is in distress. Our democracy is in disrepute, and our people, the very source of power in a true republic, have become totally disenfranchised and therefore disillusioned and detached and alienated. We from the South-South region join other zones across the country who have agreed that this union is not working as it is. It can only be sustained if it is restructured on the basis of equity, justice, and mutual consent. Now, the patriots have called us for us to examine certain things: the legitimacy of the 1999 Constitution, the viability of our current political system, the path towards restoring true sovereignty to the Nigerian people. This agenda, therefore, is not only the right one, but it is in fact the only one that matters now. We endorse it in its entirety because the truth is this: the 1999 Constitution was not the people's constitution. It was a military decree imposed without the consent of the people. The military suspended the 1963 Constitution, which remains the last legal expression of our people's collective will and agreed terms of condition for staying together. That Constitution, I'd like to emphasize, was suspended. It was never repealed, proscribed, or abrogated. At the end, rather than lift the suspension and restore a legitimate constitution, it was instead replaced with a fraudulent document that begins with a lie that says, "We the people." This document was not even submitted to the National Assembly for adoption or ratification before it was put into use. The people of Nigeria were not consulted, we did not consent, it was foisted on us, and our sovereignty was therefore stolen. Now, let us look at why our present political system cannot work. We are running a democracy where election results are determined not by the ballot, but by various other undemocratic means. Representatives and leaders are selected by a few and imposed. They are not elected. Power flows from the party barons and not from the people. Public service is privatized for profit, to individual profit, and not for national purpose. This is not democracy. This elite authoritarianism with scant democratic decoration on it. And the people know it. That is why voters turn out the declines, as we saw in the last election in Lagos. That is why trust in the government is dead. This has been exacerbated by the departure from a functional federal system to an imperial presidential unitary system, which we practice at the moment. Unless we act now, we reverse this situation, the country is bound to go into fragmentation. So we, in consultation with other leaders and the compatriots, a group that I lead, believe the following must be addressed in the new constitution. Sovereignty must return to the people. We must get rid of this unitary system and reinstate the federal system of governance that our founding fathers had agreed to. True federalism must be guaranteed maximum autonomy to the federating units. Cost of politics must be brought down to open space for inclusiveness and real leadership. Unicameral legislature with ministers appointed only from elected representatives must be reinstated. Real mechanisms for accountability, recall, and sanction for non-performing and deviant public officers must also be instituted. Impunity must end, transparency must begin. Elections must be driven by ideas and integrity, not by money. And finally, party leadership must grow from within the party. For this summit to be considered a success, the critical questions that have to be answered are, is the relationship between the nations that form Nigeria working? If not, why? And what new terms can be made to make it work? Is the constitution helping to unite, coexist for people to coexist peacefully and prosper? If not, why? And what can we do to make it work? Is our political system inclusive? Is it delivering accountable governance and promoting national progress? If not, why? And what political system will? If we cannot honestly face these questions and live here with a clear strategy, timeline, and commitment to change, then this summit, with all its good intentions, would not have been as big a success as it ought to have been. This is the right meeting, but what are our chances of success? That will depend on just one thing. Will we confront the hijacking of our sovereignty and do every legitimate thing and legal thing to fix it? If we live here with a clear, actionable roadmap to 1, restore sovereignty to the people, 2, enact a truly people-driven constitution, and 3, reform our political system to reflect our realities, then this meeting will go down in history as the turning point for Nigeria. But if we live with nothing speeches, handshakes, and photo ops, the tragedy of Nigeria will continue and we will share in the blame. Let us therefore resolve to reclaim Nigeria together. We must not be afraid to change. What we must rather be afraid of is not to change. Nigeria's unity will only be preserved through fairness and justice, not force or fear. And if we miss this opportunity, the next chapter may be one of irreversible fragmentation. I believe, and I know that many of you also believe, that time is running out. Let this summit be a strident call for a new beginning. Let the patriots be remembered as the spark that reignited the flame of sovereignty. Let Nigeria be reborn, not just as a country, but as a true nation.
All right. So having seen it, what's your thought about it? Thank you very much. I'm going to see in my next video. There's a lot of update I want to share with you. All right. Thank you, and may God continue to bless you.